everybody. Welcome to Hello Hump Day. And I hope that at this point of your week that you are halfway to whatever your weekly goal is. Today, we are delighted to be chatting with Dr. Theresa Pantanella. And I'm going to go ahead and read her bio for the people here who don't know her. Theresa takes the mystery out of Facebook and Instagram advertising. As a business owner, she has spent over 20 years developing her intuitive marketing skills. I love that word, intuitive marketing skills. In the last 5 years, she has combined that know-how with expertise in Facebook and website analytics to create surprising results for her clients. Thought leaders, coaches, and small business owners hire her to get new customers from Facebook advertising, as well as Instagram and LinkedIn. Her track record has decreased their cost per lead by as much as 33% and has increased their return on investment by as much as 201%. That's an awesome number. How on earth do you do that? Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Dottie. I appreciate it. And thanks to everybody for being here. There's so many things you could be doing on a Wednesday. And we're here to empower you to get you through the week and blast through that weekly goal.
Yes. And like all the others on Hello Hump Day, we are going to find out the journey that you took, Theresa, to get to where you are. So can you share a little bit about how you got your start?
I'd be happy to. The end result, as everybody just heard, was getting clients a return on investment increase of 201%. And that whole journey started about 9 years ago. And I knew marketing was where my heart was, really wanted to focus 1,000% on it. And videos were really cool at the time to me. So I learned video editing. It's an extremely slow and painful process.
And it's worth hiring it out to somebody like you, right?
Oh, and it was so funny because once I got to know some folks in the video production community, they all wanted to hire me for the editing. And that's the most boring part. I mean, it's the most creative part to me is the storytelling, putting that whole storyboard together. What is the video's message, the music, the images? Well, I would create these videos and then give them to people who had no idea what to do with it for their website or how to get people to see it. So I learned how to build the websites and spent 18 months in a mastermind focused on search engine optimization.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned that stuff inside out, backwards, forwards, around. My gosh, I built a gazillion websites. I still have websites out there running from that day and age, and they're still generating leads.
That's awesome.
Crazy, right? And of course, I learned how to put the video in there. Now, I got so good at it in this mastermind that the two guys running the mastermind, they said, "Hey, Theresa, would you mind kind of like hanging out and teaching the ladies in the group?" Okay, I can do that. So once a week, I was teaching the ladies. This is all by telephone conference calls.
Okay. So it's before Zoom and all of that.
Before Zoom, I think we had Slack. We had our Slack channel to exchange things back and forth. We had our weekly, they're pretty much conference calls.
Yeah, so you were on the phone.
Yeah, we were all on the phone. And we would have these documents in front of us learning the SEO and the different steps. SEO is short for search engine optimization for any of our listeners. I didn't want to lose you there.
It can be highly technical.
Was really good with social media.
And at this point in time, social media was just getting a foot in the space, right? It wasn't like common knowledge like it is now, right?
Well, it was out there, but it wasn't part of the search engine optimization mastermind because there was so much in there already. And I think that you guys that put it together were very smart not to include an in-depth training on that as well. So although I knew it existed and knew how to use it for SEO purposes, that was it. But I wanted to know more about how to use social media. So I started taking lessons from this one gal. She kind of coached me on it all. And the conversation over a period of months drifted into the ads. What's this advertising thing? She's like, oh, it's not really hard. And she showed me a couple easy things. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I was fascinated, Dottie, with how you could pick your audience. I was fascinated with you could have these different messages going out with the images, and then Facebook would tell you which image people liked more or which message got more response. So I started
Google
trying
could learn a
crazy
lot
things.
from Facebook.
Oh, I cut my teeth, blew through hundreds of dollars, spent thousands on trainings, started getting curious about the big wigs in the industry. Now, here's the hilarious part. I've gone from the leader for the ladies and the SEO mastermind group to now I've joined this mastermind for Facebook advertising. And they're talking a language, it might as well have been Russian. I had no idea what they were saying at the time. And I would listen to the videos over and over and over again. I'm like, they make it look so easy.
So now you know what business owners that have no idea how to do this feel like. I mean, if you felt that way.
I did. And I would ask questions and run my own ad campaigns. And I would get lukewarm results. And they would tell me, well, you need to do more, you need to know your audience more. And I'm like, And that's what the part of Facebook ads that took me back into my marketing. Because when you are marketing, even when it's paid advertising, it's knowing your audience, but knowing them beyond demographics like male, female, age, what kind of job.
Yeah, and really knowing their interests.
Exactly. What is their day-to-day life like? You know, why would my product or service make a difference for them? And that was where I needed to really drill in tighter on the messaging. Because, you know, the ads have got that headline component. And Facebook actually did a study. The image or the video is what stops people from scrolling. Second thing they do is look at the headline. The third thing they do is they read the message, the copy, the text that's on the ad. That's when they decide whether or not to click on the ad or explore it more or to take action, like signing up for a webinar or downloading your lead magnet or signing up for your $2,000 course. Whatever
the ad is advertising.
Exactly. So until I started to really drill down on that and understand that, that's when the ad costs came down. Yes.
I could see that because your spend wasn't getting wasted on people who weren't interested in whatever you were advertising.
Bingo.
Yep.
Bingo.
And that's the secret to all advertising.
It really is. And you've got to warm up your audience. You know, sometimes they're just not aware of their own problem, let alone the solution that you're trying to sell them in the first place. So having that whole chain of events, like the storyboard in a video, having that whole chain of events that keeps you in front of your potential customer and has the correct timing for when they're ready to purchase from you. Because they may not be aware, you might need to educate them. Maybe you need some 2-minute videos or some really long 30-minute videos where you're being interviewed and you're talking about your expertise. Possibly it's an example or demonstration of your product or service. That'd be great for anybody like a coach or hypnotist. Testimonials do great in that whole customer journey of getting people to understand that you have a solution for them.
Yep.
And then they want to buy from you because by now they know, like, and trust you. And that's the other big factor in knowing your audience. They
Is
have to
gaining
know
that
you
trust.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going
So
to back up just a little bit.
Okay.
So you started this adventure 9 years ago.
Yes.
I'm curious, was this the first self-employed thing that you did, or was there a backstory to how you got to being where you are today?
Okay. Here's the backstory. Growing up in an Italian family, I am a fourth generation entrepreneur. Those big Italian family dinners on Sunday night, Dad and Grandpa were down at their end of the table, talking shop and business. My grandfather had built the one and only shoe repair chain across America.
Wow.
Speedcraft Shoe Service. My father was in the engraving and watch repair business and had 20 retail locations throughout Eastern United States.
Impressive.
And I was just down there, I was like a sponge. And Grandpa used to always say, whatever you do, be in business for yourself. That's the only way to get ahead. And when I went to college, he said, learn how to think. No matter what you do, he says, I don't care what you study, learn how to think.
Learn how to think and be in business for yourself. Those are two good pieces of advice.
Yes. Yes. Graduated from Ohio State University with my bachelor's degree in occupational therapy. Being a person of excellence, I eventually pursued my doctoral degree. That's why they call me Dr. Theresa.
And what is that in?
Occupational therapy.
Okay.
Yes. Now, with Grandpa's good advice, as soon as I figured it out, I was my own agent.
Okay.
Grew my business, had other therapists working for me. And the marketing was what I was really good at. I was really good at building relationships. I lived by the motto, the buck stops here. No matter what happened, I always took responsibility for what happened in my business.
Great.
And for me, after 24 years, I'm doing what I'm passionate about, the marketing.
So how did you make that decision to go from having a occupational therapy practice, a brick and mortar business, to being an online advertising maven?
You know, it's kind of funny. And I think, especially during the past year, we've all had those moments, at least I know I have, where I sat back on the couch and went, okay, am I really doing what I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And when I was practicing in the healthcare world, I had a lot of those moments. Friends of mine have left for Thailand and I couldn't go.
Yes, you were tied to your business.
Yes, yes. And there were different circumstances where I did my best to build up the business so I could go away to conferences or take some time off during the holidays and things like that. But I was always tied to the business. So in the back of my head, I always pictured something different. Wasn't quite sure what that was. And when I realized it was marketing, it's like, well, how can I do this and not be tied down with a brick and mortar?
So did you sell your practice?
Well, more or less, it was not sellable at the time.
Oh.
I didn't build it to sell it, unfortunately. I didn't get that lesson from Grandpa.
You know, there is
So
really a
business owners
difference
that are
in
out
how you
there,
build your business.
if you do want to sell, you do need to start from day one. I did not do that. So for me, when the computer was a foreign thing to me, but the videos made sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd always played around with the camcorder, you know, at events or family gatherings. You know, this was the sort of thing I knew I could do. So if you're looking at shifting something majorly in your life like this, look at what you like doing. I have a business colleague that she was a nurse and she went in to sell, I call them tchotchkes. You know, things like the pens with the company name on it.
All the promotional stuff.
That's it. That's it. So she went from nursing to the promotional stuff because for her, she just wasn't happy as a nurse. She wanted to be happy. And
Yeah.
I can't emphasize for all of our listeners, if you're not happy, really take the time to sit down and figure it out. You know, it's very interesting to me that people that are leaders in our world and the icons in their own industries, they take time off. They know where they're going and they became who they are because they have a passion for that.
And they have it mapped out.
Exactly. But the reason it's mapped out is they took the time to do that. No, there's a saying, I believe it's Jim Rohn's, I might be mistaken, that if you don't design your own life, someone will design it for you. And what they have planned for you is not a lot.
And it's not what you have planned for you.
Right. And
that is so true, because if you don't take control, then it's like you just get caught up in where everybody else is going and what they're doing, and you kind of lose what it is that you initially started.
Yeah. I can't tell you what a wonderful compass it is to have your goals written out where you can look at them every single day. I have mine charted out on my bathroom wall on a spreadsheet, and it's quarterly. And those quarterly goals are tied to my annual goal. And then I have a notebook that I keep next to my bed with my 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 10-year goals on it. I read through that once a week. I make sure I'm still going the right direction, because I'm not doing everything I need to do every week to get to that 1 year goal. I'm never going to make the 3 year, 5 year, 10-year goals.
This is true.
And this is why when you have the goal-oriented behavior, you get results. You're happy because you're where you want to be, and you're able to help and serve others at the same time because you're in a place of contentment.
And if you're not, then you can change your goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, I've learned that when I first started my business, I knew the whole goal thing, but they're always just in my head, right? So
that's not where they need to be.
WPN, I've actually written them down for the first time in 15 years or however long it's been. And it works better that way.
It does.
Really does.
It really does. It works a lot better that way. You know, you can look at them.
And you know when you've reached them.
Exactly. And there's such immense pleasure in checking off that goal, whether it be the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the year.
And I have chunked mine down to the week now. It's
good.
Like a week, a month, a quarter, a year.
Good. Now we're getting down to the last weekend of the year. Now for me, this is where I get a little intense because I don't want to make sure I make those goals. I have this driven spirit in me that doesn't give up.
I think
I know I'm going to have some friends, you know, wagging their heads at me this weekend and saying, Theresa, it's a holiday. And I'm like, it's the last day of the month. I have to finish this.
I was just looking at my monthly goal thinking, I have to do this by tomorrow. Because the rest of the month I'm gone. I'm going camping.
Oh, I love it. I'm glad it's cool enough for you to go camping. I'm in Florida. We can't go camping this time of year. Well, you could, but it'd be awfully warm and uncomfortable.
It's just starting to get warm enough here to go.
Oh, major difference. And good for you to get away, because that does reignite the mind and re-engages the inner wisdom that exists in all of us. It allows you to kind of sit back and take a breather.
So in your introduction, I keyed in on the words intuitive marketing something.
Yes.
That phrase that you have there, and it's the intuitive. It's like, how did you know what your intuition was?
That's a great question. Marketing for me seems to come naturally. You know, I've been in marketing classes where I just kind of scratched my head and I was like, doesn't it? Why? And the teacher be droning on and on and on, and people didn't get what he was saying.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm already, I get that, and this is how it works. And there's something in me that just puts it all together naturally, and it's interesting with the audience in the online advertising. There's a different approach to it. And now, yes, I've gone to the books and read books, and I'll always be a student, because if you stop learning, you're done.
Well,
So
in this industry, things change.
Exactly. But I also need to know, what other way can I craft my message?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the instinct or an intuition that I'm building on now. And somehow it just some of these things just make sense to me in terms of, and it goes beyond the simple things, like if you have a salmon farm, you're not going to put it in Florida. You're going to put it in Northwest America, right?
Sure.
Well, let me see if I can give you a good example. I've worked with a lot of different events and getting them either sold with ticket sales online, or I've supported events locally as a volunteer prior to this past year. And for me, when they were explaining to me how people were coming in the door, I would say, well, did you do X, Z, or Y? And they'd be like, no, I didn't think of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When it comes to the online marketing for an event, it would seem to me that the best thing you can do is paste it everywhere. And that seems kind of natural to me.
Yeah, me too.
And see, I've worked with so many people, with the event organizers, and they're like, no, we don't have to do that. Or it's not necessary to have, an Eventbrite posting, a Facebook event, a website, a meetup. I'm like, yes, it is. You want to be everywhere.
Well, I guess it depends on if they want to fill it up or not.
Well, it's kind of interesting because they'll pull back.
Yeah. It's like they'll get scared.
Yeah. Or they just, well, it's not necessary. I'm like, yes, it is. Intuitive things like, and looking at like what pictures are going to work, or what video to create to go with that message.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I'm going to change gears just a little bit more.
Yeah, I was having a great conversation with a copywriter yesterday, and he was telling me how surprised he is that people don't do more education in their advertising.
Mm-hmm.
And it really should be part of the whole story leading people to buy your product.
That's where I wanted to go. I got an email from you this morning talking about story. And I wanted to ask you, how does a person that is not a storyteller, which is, 99% of all of us, how do we include story in our marketing? For me, it's tough to come up with a story.
That's a great question. Stories, I'm actually a certified master storyteller from the Master Storyteller Academy.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what my pin is for. Ta-da! Can you see my big, bold, beautiful pin? It's priceless. Story is based on one of three things that we all have in our lives: transitions, defining moments, and challenges.
Okay.
When you tell your story, pick one of those and just start writing. What happened next? What did you do first? And then what happened? And then what happened? And then what happened? The story should be about why you do what you do.
Okay.
Everyone needs a story that shows their passion. The story that tells people, I'm more than just you're hawking a product or service.
Mm-hmm.
And the depth of the story, it should be completed within 3 minutes. You should be able to tell the story in 3 minutes.
So we're talking short stories.
Now, here's the thing. That's where, like, let's say we're not doing elevator pitches too much these days.
Not unless you're in the elevator by yourself.
Right. You get a good place to practice. You put your story on your website.
Mm-hmm.
And then have a video of you telling your story. And use that video as part of your social media strategy. The other place to use your story is when you're in these big networking Zoom rooms and you give an introduction. If you could sharpen up that story into 90 seconds, you've got
People
people's
will
attention.
remember you.
Yes. I'm currently in a copywriting group, and their signature way of introducing yourself is, I'm a doctoral level occupational therapist turned copywriter. So from that, the story is, I'm a doctoral level occupational therapist, and as my background, and now I'm doing copywriting.
That brings curiosity to me.
Yeah. Now, in an email, let's say someone's just opted into your lead magnet, and now they have this information. Of course, you want to make sure that they received it. You want to make sure that they've whitelisted your email address. And then you want to have a follow-up email. Let them know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the perfect place to put your story. They just got something from you through a computer. There's no human contact. If you tell them your story, now you've humanized what your gift that's been given to them. With the story, there's a bond that's created, and people will start to relate to you. Like for me, with my background in occupational therapy, people are like, oh, you were in healthcare. And it's made it very easy for me to work with other healthcare professionals like dentists,
Mm-hmm.
with pharmacy level, doctorate level pharmacists, with functional medicine doctors.
All
So it's
kinds of
opened up that
healthcare.
path for me. But unless I tell my story, it closes that path down, and it throttles down the opportunity. So by opening up and telling your story, you're opening up possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
There's a publicist that does an excellent job with this in terms of keeping yourself open to all of your past organizations. Let them know where you're at and what you're doing. Keep telling your story to them.
I've always said burn no bridges.
Exactly. And if you went back to your high school alma mater, if you went back to any kind of a college organization that you were a member of, if you went back to your first women's group and told them your story, they'd be like, wow. And it takes 3 minutes or less.
Yep.
But
Well, we're at the bottom of the hour.
Are we already? This went too fast, Dotty.
I know. I want to respect everybody's time. So did you have anything that you wanted to offer the group at all?
Yes, I'd be happy to. I have an ultimate landing page blueprint that has been very helpful to many people, and I'd be happy to give you the link for that. It's
Okay.
a free blueprint. It's about 11 pages long and goes through a variety of points and issues that you should have on your landing page and places you should avoid having those little hiccups if your landing page is not working for you. A landing page is the same thing as your website. So feel free to take that blueprint and look at some of the pages in your website and see if you've got the elements on there that need to be on there. And that will actually put you into an email sequence that will include different examples of different types of landing pages. And you'll get more information on my storytelling class that's coming up as well.
Yay, a storytelling class. I think I'm interested
Yay.
in that one. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, and we will see you next Wednesday with Dr. Tiana. And thank you, Dr. Theresa, for
My pleasure.
all of your words of wisdom that you have shared with the group. Everybody, have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye now.